Alors, bonsoir.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special meeting of the Dieppe City Council on December the 16th, 2014. The meeting is called to order confirmation of quorum. We have a quorum. And now, is there any conflict of interest? Would any members of council have a conflict of interest? No. So, without any further delay, we'll adopt the agenda. We may move by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau on the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried and so ordered. We shall begin with the presentation of the budget of 2015. Notes from myself, ladies and gentlemen. We are very happy to present the final version of the budget 2015. Thanks to the staff and the members of Municipal Council who have given advice and comments in preparing this budget. This budget represents well our mission, which is to offer services of quality to the citizens while making sure to make responsible decisions for the well-being of everyone. Our property tax remains the same as last year, namely 1.5845 per $100 of assessment, remaining the second lowest among the cities in New Brunswick. The only one being in a better position is the city of Fredericton has a lower rate than us. The year 2014 was a very good year for the commercial sector, and I am convinced that the investors will continue to see our city as the appropriate place to do business over and above the projects already underway. Others should be announced very shortly. I am convinced that 2015 will also be a very good year for that sector. The priorities, which we'll talk about tonight, reflect what we have heard from the citizens, and that is why the majority of our general capital budget will be spent in the road infrastructure. Among the road construction in 2015, we find several projects of resurfacing and sidewalks, the replacement of a few culverts, and mainly the rebuilding of Amiro, Acadie, and the Marsh Road, which are designated provincial highways. But this is conditional to the financial contribution of the other two levels of government. We hope that the next few days will bear good news. Among the other projects for 2014, there are the plans for another ice service and the addition of trail. The water and sewage invoice will increase by $24 per year, namely $6 per quarterly invoice. $19 will go to the water and sector, 19 out of $24, and the other $5 will be targeted to Transguasa, the regional commission responsible for water and sewage, for the projects that is to be implemented as a community to bring the water and system at a tertiary level was a more to meet the regulations of the federal that we have to meet before 2020, but the process of water and storage of cleansing of water waste must meet the requirements from the federal government according to the schedule that is already in existence. We should reach it by 2018. We must continue to manage our growth and our expenses in a responsible manner while aiming on key projects. When I look at the potential of the city of Dieppe, I am optimistic as to our future within this province. I want to thank the staff and the municipal council who have worked very hard in order to make sure that the city of Dieppe is very accountable. I would ask without any further delay our Director of Finance to proceed with his presentation of the budget. Mr. Terrio. I'm happy to present to you the budget for 2015. Members of council, members of management, and the public. As for the budget, the operation that's not the right is the general operation budget. You almost got me off guard. So as for the general operation, the tax base increased by 4.5%. It means it was at 268 billion, and this year it'll be at 2.8. So an increase of 200 million as to the money that is coming back to us. The 44.36 million versus 42.45 million last year. So an increase of 1.9 million. As for the unconditional grant, that is called the Financial and Community Perequation Grant, as we know it very well, unconditional grant, it increased by 5.2%. So from 851,000 to 895,000, an increase of 44,000. The income from our own sources, here we talk about the rental of skating rings, an increase of 1.1%, which means it went from 2.6 million to 2.67 million, an increase of $30,000. And where it hurt more is the surplus from previous year. When the accounting rule is that we bring 2 years later the surplus that we had 2 years before. Here, the surplus of 2012 was 683,000, and the one that we bring back was only 226,000. So a reduction 400 and some odd if we compare with last year. Finally, the expenses increased by 3.3%. Last year was 46.6 million, so it increased by 3.3%. As for the cost, where we had an increase, the RCMP increased by 5.1%. In figure, it went from 4.8 million to 5.1 million, an increase of 250,000. The major item that were uncontrollable was the pension and the increase there, and the increase of salary, the training, and as I explained earlier, also there was a negative effect if you take the previous year. The water increased by 3.8%. Now, on our side, the greatest increase, expense-wise, that would be controllable. There, the expenses that does not include the salary, but each department head have a control, or where you have committed yourself during the last year. There were expenses or studies on climatic change, started in 2014, $52,000 for 2015. Another one is another study for the climatic of $75,000. There was events that require $70,000. There's the LOEs or the Francophone events and whatnot. The additional costs in the operation of satellite that we opened recently, and the widening of the aquatic center. So these are all expenses over and above what we had last year. Our famous pie, as I would call it. The total expense is 48.1 million, as I said, an increase of 3.3% compared to last year. The tax rate, as the mayor said, remains at $1.5845, an increase of 0%. The main services here, we can see that the recreational service, 16% of the pie. The financial service represents 15.6%. So is the debt, that is at 15%. We talk about the service of the debt, if you wish. On the right, you can see fire at 14%, and so on and so forth on the picture. Where do our income come from? The tax, the property tax, which represents 44.3 unconditional grant, 894,000, and the other income representing 2.9 million. The tax rate remains at $1.5845. And if we want to compare a house worth $150,000 in Dieppe, would pay taxes of $2,488. That's in Dieppe. Now, for the true budget of water and sewage, operation of water and sewage services, I mentioned earlier, there's an increase of $24 compared to last year. We find this at $6 of water and $13 in the sewerage for $19. So $6 for each quarterly invoice. The budget of water and sewerage represent 12 million. Last year was 11.9, so a small increase of 0.1% if you wish. The purchase of water from the city of Moncton is of 1.8 million. The water waste of 3 million. Distribution of water 3.1 million. The maintenance for financial 2.6 million. Operation capital 0.6 and administrative services $200,000. The general capital budget, we have projects for a value of 11.5 million, of which 1.9 million is included in the recreational facilities, transportation 9.6 million, and a few trails as well as parks. As for transportation, we talk about designated highway, 3.9 million of the budget, Acadie Amiro 2 million, and Champlain 1.1 million. Preservation of asphalt continues every year, which is 3 million. Investment in downtown of 600,000. Trail and park, as I said, 500,000. And other highway infrastructure, Benjamin Street, Normandy, the extension of college, and so on and so forth. The financing of this project is done in part from the tax subsidy of gas tax 1.4, capital of operation 3.5 million, capital reserve 0.2 million. The surplus means projects that were started in 2014, continued in 2014, of 1.2 million, and the leaves us a loan of 5.2 million. As for the capital budget for water and sewage service, we have projects identified for 3.2 million for 2015. Designated highway, we have 2.4 million, 1.7 for Acadie Amiro, and 600,000 for Champlain. And the balance is preservation of asphalt is 200,000, and studies of pre-consumption of sanitary, as well as the installation of sanitary and the replacement of that includes most of the projects. The financing is done through the capital of the operation 600,000, subsidy of tax ad, surplus of 2014 800,000. Therefore, there's 1.7 million to be borrowed. This completes the presentation of the 4 budget for 2015. Thank you very much. Is there any questions, comments from the councillors at this time? If not, we will continue with the different resolutions to be made or motions, which is a mixture of transfers and commitments for the year to come, which constitute the 5.1 on the agenda, finance, and then 5.12, resolution concerning General Capital Reserve Fund for 2015, the Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Funds, and the Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Funds, and the all kinds of resolutions that are affected. I will not impose to our manager to go through each item. Essentially, they're all resolutions that refer directly to the budget. So we shall proceed with the first resolution, transfers of funds and commitments. 5.1.1, transfer of funds to the General Operating Reserve Fund. So, Councillor Leblanc, if you will, get the ball rolling. That council authorizes a budget transfer in the amount of $590,638 from the General Operating Fund to the General Operating Reserve Fund. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Benito. On the question. On the question, Mr. Beliveau. Thank you, Your Worship. The question is as follows. I would like to know where the $590,000 come from. Are these surplus that were transferred? They would come from where exactly within the expenditures? For more explanation, Mr. Terrio. Yes, it comes from the surplus that are planned for 2014, and one main item is the salary in the order of $600,000. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. So we have to congratulate our administrators for that saving. On the vote, all those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. So the motion is carried. Second resolution, 5.1.2, transfer of funds to the General Capital Reserve Fund. Councillor Gadet. That council authorizes a budget transfer in the amount of $363,000 from the General Operating Fund to the General Capital Reserve Fund. And that council authorizes a transfer in the amount of $1,400,000 from the General Capital Reserve Fund to the General Capital Fund. I so move. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Gadet, seconded by Councillor Beliveau. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. 5.1.1.2 is carried. Next one for the transfer of 5.1.1.3, transfer of funds to the Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Fund. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That council authorizes a budget transfer in the amount of $343,770 from the Water and Sewer Operating Fund to the Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Fund. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. The motion is carried. Next item. 5.1.1.4, transfer of funds, Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Fund. Councillor Benito. Thank you, Your Worship. That council authorizes a budget transfer in the amount of $430,581 from the Water and Sewer Operating Fund to the Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Fund. That council authorizes a budget transfer in the amount of $385,000 from the Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Fund to the Water and Sewer Capital Fund. I so move. Moved by Councilor Brideau, seconded by Councilor Dalla. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded. Carried. 5.1.5 commitments on different reserve funds for this resolution. Councillor Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorizes the following commitments from the following reserve funds. General Operating Reserve Funds, account number 7-4-20-12-8910. Emergency Measures, $75,000. Study Gender-Based Analysis, $10,000. Snow Removal, $250,000. Building Renovation Program, $353,913. Equipment Program, Public Works Department, $22,000. Equipment Program, Recreational Facilities Department, $32,277. Engineering Department, Global Traffic Plan, $10,800. Destination 2040 Study, $40,000. Lean Six Sigma Study, $51,000. 2015 Strategic Plan, $10,000. Potential claims, $29,500. Discount on 2015 obligation, $80,000. SIG Software Urban Planning, $48,500. Ludic, $30,390. Information Technology Training, $6,950. Information Technology Systems Development and Integration, $24,000. Purchase of computers, RMS Web, Records Management, $23,530. Website Improvement, $18,000. Records Management Access to Information Software, $14,450. Hall of Fame, $6,000. Seniors in Motion, $14,000. Sign Place, 1604, $18,000. Feasibility Study and Business Plan Arena, $10,000. Satnat Arena, $16,000. Partnership Aquatic and Sports Center, $6,272. Les Arts et la Ville, $50,000. Wellness Strategy, $6,000. Heritage Artifact Numbering, $7,000. Heritage Black Place 1604 and Regis, $15,000. Parking Study, $25,000. Future Operational Needs, $500,000. Tripartite Green Initiative Program, $100,000. Professional Service and Maintenance of Laserfish Software, $38,000. Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Fund, account number 7-4-20-12-8930. Engineering Department, Municipal Bylaw, $10,000. Inlet Repairs, $20,000. Master Plan, Water System, $40,000. Pumping Station, Baban, $17,000. Study Water Meters, $10,000. Potential Claims, $12,000. Impact Assessment, $22,138. Legal Fees, $60,000. Engineering Department Water, $25,000. Backflow Prevention Program, $10,000. Repair and Maintenance Materials Sewer, $25,000. Discount on obligation, $33,000. Purchase of computers, RMS Web Records Management, $11,075. Records management access to information software, $7,770. Future operational need to be determined, $250,000. General Capital Reserve Fund, account number 7-4-20-12-8920. Vehicle Program, Fire Department, $502,000. Equipment Program, Public Works Department, $551,600. Equipment Program, Municipal Facilities Department, $264,591. Future land purchases, $450,000. Playgrounds of sports fields, $75,000. Surplus 2014 to reduce the borrowing in 2015, $200,000. Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Funds, account number 7-4-20-12-8940. Equipment Program, Public Works Department, $243,000. Future operational needs, sewer, to be determined, $365,000. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Godet. On the question, Mrs. Dalar. Thank you, Your Worship. My question is on page 18 of our package. It's point number 5, future operational need, $500,000. Could you explain what this represents? Mr. Terrio or Mr. Minaso? The amount of $500,000 for any projects that could be needed in downtown. They have yet to be determined, the projects, but once determined, that's where the money would be spent. Any other question? Not. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded. So 5.1.5 is various reserve funds is carried. Next, 5.1.2, 2015 General Operating Fund Budget, 2015 Water and Sewerage Operating Fund Budget, and 2014 Financial Projections. That brings us to the first resolution, 5.1.2.1, 2015 General Operating Budget for 2015. I would ask Councillor Thibodeau, please, to read it. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council resolves that the sum of $48,148,276 be the municipality's total budget, that the sum of $44,361,194 be the warrant of the municipality for the ensuing year, and the municipality's tax rate be $1.5845, and that Council orders and directs the levying by the Minister of Local Government of said real property liable to taxation under the Assessment Act within the municipality of Dieppe. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Brito. On the question, Mrs. Dalar. Thank you, Your Worship. It's a technical question. Is there a reason why we put the next year, the next year instead of the year 2015? It would be better if we name the year 2015 instead of saying there's no reason. No. Well, 2015 is the year after this one. If you read the resolution, let's hope we'll all be as intelligent as us and they will understand. If the mover and seconder would agree to put 2015 instead of the following year, instead of moving an amendment, it's more precise. I agree that we change. Yeah. That we mentioned the year 2015. Could we read the resolution over again? That council resolved that some 48,148,276 be the municipality's total budget. That the sum of $44,361,194 be the warrant of the municipality for the year 2015. And the municipality's tax rate remain at $1.5845, and that council orders and directs that the levying by the Minister of Local Government of said amount on real property liable to taxation under the Assessment Act within the municipality of Dieppe. I so move. Thank you. So, with the amended text, moved by Councilor Tiberio, seconded by Councilor Dirido. You're still seconding, and no more question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. 5.1.2.1 is adopted. Is that we are still the second municipalities or cities with the lowest rate when we compare with our neighbors. In Moncton, it's 5.5 cents lower. It's a good impact. On the tax bill, 5.1.2.2, 2015 Water and Sewer Operating Fund Budget. Councilor Leblanc, thank you, Your Worship. That the 2015 Water and Sewer Operating Funds be approved as follows. $7,200,245 for water, $4,808,648 for sewer. That pursuant to the bylaw respecting the water and sewer systems, the user charge per unit for the year 2015 be set as follows. $476 for water, $408 for sewer. That the metered water rates for the year 2015 be $1.7160 per cubic meter, and that the user charge for the sewerage service be for metered customers for the year 2015 be equal to a percentage of the amount of the water rate. This percentage being determined by the ratio of the current sewerage rate to the current water rate. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Leblanc, seconded by Councilor Dalat on the question. Mr. Beliveau. Thank you, Your Worship. The mayor is, if we want to be consistent, it should read the annual unit rate. The people should know that it's an annual rate. We talk of the year. So there need not to be a distinction. We'll make sure that in the future the people will understand the same way we do. I hope so. When it says for the year 2015, it means it's for that year, subjected to be changed. It's only a suggestion. Thank you. If there's no more questions, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Resolution 5.1.2.2 is carried as presented. Now for 5.1.2.3. 2014 financial projections, General Operating Fund and Water and Sewer Operating Fund. Mrs. Dalla, please. Thank you, Your Worship. That the Council accepts the budget transfer authorized within the 2014 operating budget during the 2015 budget process meetings held on November 17, 18, and 19, 2014. I so move. Moved by Councilor Dalla, seconded by Councilor Godet on the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. 5.1.3 Capital Work Program for 2015. 5.1.3.1 Here's the resolution. Capital Work Program for 2015. Councillor Ville, please. Your worship, that council authorizes an application to borrow the additional sum of $2,363,000, given that an application for $4,500,000 has already been authorized by council as it September 23rd, 2014 meeting for the Acadia Miro reconstruction project. VIA has submitted to the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board in order to finance following project general capital budget. Projects, Leisure and Recreational Facilities Department, new recreational facilities, $1,365,000, Trail and Playground, $552,000, Public Works and Engineering Department, Infrastructure, various streets, $9,589,000 for a total $11,506,000. Source of funds, 2015 general operating budget, $3,500,031. 2014 existing authority, $1,201,000. 2015 gas tax grant, $1,441,969. General Capital Reserve Fund, $200,000. Capital borrowing already authorized, $2,800,000. Capital borrowing to be authorized, $2,363,000. A total of $11,506,000. Water and sewer capital budget. Projects, water and sewer infrastructure, $3,229,000. Source of funds, 2015 water and sewer operating budget, $564,303. 2014 existing authority, $844,000. 2015 gas tax grant, $120,697. Capital borrowing already authorized, $1,700,000 for a total of $3,229 at an interest rate to be determined by the board for a period not exceeding 15 years for the general capital budget and 20 years for the water and sewer capital budget, and that council authorizes 20 years for the water and sewer capital budget. That council authorizes the city of Dieppe to borrow on an interim basis an amount not to exceed $2,363,000 at the prime lending rate until long-term financing is arranged. I so move, your worship. Moved by Councilor Béliveau, seconded by Councilor Cormier. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. The resolution is 5.1.3.1 is adopted as presented. Now for the next motion, 5.1.3.2. Second resolution for the 2015 Capital Work Program. Councillor Leblanc. Dear Worship, the Council authorizes the following projects within the 2015 Capital Works Program. Transportation, new asphalt, various streets, pavement management, land purchases, Dieppe Boulevard extension, and other future streets. Improvements, designated highways, Acadia Miro Champlain, asphalt, Normandy, Benjamin Airport Tower and Leisure, sidewalks, various streets, replacement of culvert, Fox Creek and Champlain, sidewalks and curves downtown, recreational facilities, trail system, Babino Creek, Phase 1 from Acadie to Thomas, New Park, Ivan Street, Phase 2, new facilities planned and specification for ice service, water and sewer,
D'égout sanitaire.
Sanitary sewer installation, Charlottesville. Pre-design study, sanitary sewer. Infrastructure work, water and sewer services related to general capital projects under the pavement management and designated highway programs. I so move, your worship. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau. On the question. Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, your worship. I thought in that package we talk about the asphalting of Fox Creek Road. I don't see it, and it's within the. The other one is the culvert. Yes. Could it help for the flooding? The culvert, if we were to install a bigger one? That solves our problem. I think there's still a lot of work to be done in the assessment. We know what happened, but the main cause is still to be determined. Some studies are being done to evaluate the whole process. At the Amiro crossing, there was a lot of damage, which is the former IJ building that had the same consequences in September 1999, September the 3rd. I remember it, and the Abueto. We will have to determine that in spite of the improvement that was made 15 years ago, we have to look at the consequences of all that and maybe take time and look more at the Abueto. We know we have a problem with the dig in the Chartersville Marsh. We have a problem with the dig at the Puerto Renal. These are provincial responsibilities. Have to determine if that is the problem, and then we'll need some discussions with our friends from the province. There was a reason for my question if we would replace the culvert and maybe study the proper size of the culvert. That is to know if the problem is not slightly closer to the river and whatnot. Thank you. Thanks for the question. Councillor Gadet. Your worship, as the previous resolution, I would like to make sure that I understand that for the previous, it's an authorization to borrow. For this one, it's a general resolution to prepare the projects. It's not an authorization to spend. Do I understand that all these items will have to come back before the council to receive the authorization of individual spending? Yes. Well, once through the purchase, we go by tenders, and it comes back to the council to approve it. I suspect that there are some issues would need more discussion than what is going on tonight. There has already been discussion previously, considering the events that happened last week. I don't think there'll be more discussion for other reasons. Okay. In due time. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, we'll proceed with all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried. Resolution 5.1.3.2 is carried as presented. Thank you for your cooperation. We have gone through all these resolutions. Dealing with the budget now, we'll go to 5.2. On the item dealing with planning and development or rezoning application. Yes, good evening everyone. We've received a request to amend the zoning map And section of Dieppe Boulevard, Yvonne Street, Valmont Crescent now is to go through the first step for public hearings. Fix the date of January the 12th to receive the comments and objections that could be presented on this application. We talk about 4-pin 70502786, 70498241, 70498258, 70502216. We are asking the written comment from the Planning Advisory Committee. So it's to undertake the process. Thank you for the resolution, Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council proceeds with the first phase of the legislative process and schedules the date of January the 12th, 2015 at 7 p.m. to hear the objections relating to an amendment to the zoning map, City of Dieppe zoning bylaw relating to the lands identified under PID 70502786 portion, 70498241, 70498258, and 70502216, and request the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee, and that Council extends the deadline pursuant to Article 66, Bracket 3 of the Community Planning Act to February the 9th, 2015. I so move. Your Worship, moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Godet. On the question, Mrs. Dada. Thank you, Your Worship. It was simply a clarification question to better understand the obligation of the law. In the past, with this kind of rezoning, before we proceed with the public hearing to receive objections, we have a presentation of the project. Is it that this one does not require a presentation, and that is why we're going directly to the objection? Your Worship, to answer the question, here, the application, there's only an amendment to the zoning bylaw. Generally speaking, in the past, we have an amendment to the map. That's why Article 25 requires public presentation. We have 3 days to bring any comments, positive or negative, on the projects. The affectation of the soil, for which we're asking a rezoning, allows this kind of project, so we don't have to amend the map of the soil. We go directly to the public hearing, which is to amend the zoning map. The zoning map is R3, which is residential, and we're asking to amend the zoning to a CN, which is commercial. But that's the distinction. One map, the zoning allows it, and that's why there's no public presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Béliveau. Your Worship, the question has to do with the necessary time to warn and allow as a resolution to hear objections. Was it not 30 days that we needed to give them 30 days to answer that question? Your Worship, as to the amendment, Article 25, as I explained, the law requires 30 days, but when we're at the public hearing, the Act requires only that the first notice be published in newspapers between 21 and 30 days before the hearing, and the second notice 4 to 7 days before the public hearing. That is what is written in Article Section 68 of the Act. But as you know, here in Dieppe, not only newspaper, we do one more thing. We send letters to the neighbors. The neighbors in the sector will be notified. If I understand, Your Worship, what is requested to be done is pursuant to the Planning Act. Thank you. That's what I heard. If there's no more questions, all those in favor of the resolution say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. Resolution 5.2.1 is carried. 5.2.2, Mr. Minaso. This request a rezoning is that portion of the public land be located along the Dieppe Boulevard be changed of its use. We ask the views of the PAC, the Planning Advisory Committee, for the creation of a new street, a realignment of the street, Kedgewick, and if the council accepts that the Fox Creek Gulf Community Promenade and Reunion that was adopted on April the 11th be repealed and that an amending plan be submitted to the approval of council. Thank you for the resolution, Councilor Gadet. Land for public purpose, portion New Street subdivision plan. That council requests the views of the Planning Advisory Committee pursuant to Article 43, Bracket 1 of the Community Planning Act to change the use of a portion of the lands for public purposes situated on Dieppe Boulevard and identified under PID 70492723. That council requests the views of the Planning Advisory Committee pursuant to Article 56, Bracket 1 of the Community Planning Act for the creation of a new street extension, realignment, and that council accepts that the resolution entitled Fox Creek Gulf Community Unit Number 10, Kedgewick Drive, and Reunion Street adoption of tentative plan and adopted on April the 11th, 2011 be repealed and that an amending plan be submitted to the approval of council. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Gadet, seconded by Councilor Cormier. Brideau, sorry. Councilor Brideau? Almost went around. Thank you. All those in favor on the question? Sorry. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. Next item 5.3, Public Works and Engineering. 5.3.1. The next four items has to do with engineering services with project of 2015, the reconstruction of street that were adopted earlier. So it's for ESP Services Incorporated with home for the reconstruction of Pascal, Central, Dysart, and De La Savoie. This is pursuant to the offer for $662,000 NHSD in the account identified in the general budget for the resolution. Councilor Cormier. Your Worship. The Council authorizes EXP Services, Inc. to undertake the engineering services to the Pascal, Central, Dysart, and Adela Savoie Street reconstruction project pursuant to the proposal dated November 24, 2014, and further authorizes the cost of said engineering services estimated at $162,513 plus HST be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-7601, General Capital Budget. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Dallaire. On the question. Mr. Godet. Yes. In the, we say, pursuant to the offer of services, like in the resolutions that are forthcoming, what kind of request did we make? Was there a competition between the different firms, or is it an administrative decision that was made? No, not necessarily competition, Your Worship. There are terms of reference that were sent to, in this case, to the EXP consulting firm for their expertise and their municipal knowledge in the infrastructure. So, do I understand that there was no other proposal? No. Neither for the others? No. It's an administrative choice. I think you used the proper word. Anyway, that will be for this year. Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye. Contrary reminded, nay. Resolution is carried. Next, 5.3.2. Engineering Service Reconstruction Project of Fox Creek Road, Airport Street, Tower Street, and Legier for 2015. So, Roy Construction Limited is chosen for the amount of $164,830 plus HST. Thank you for the reading of the resolution, Councilor Divido. Thank you, Your Worship. Council authorizes Le Groupe Roy Consultants Limited to undertake the engineering services for the Fox Creek Airport Tower and Legier Street reconstruction project pursuant to the proposal dated November 25th, 2014, and further authorizes the cost of said engineering services estimated at $164,830 plus HST be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-7601, 2015 General Capital Budget. And so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau, seconded by Councilor Brito. On the question, Mr. Godet. Yes, in this case, I'm sorry that we did not add a street and a half or two streets to try and have it done more quickly in the Lakeburn area on the airport and so on and so forth. So it's a wish that we made earlier. I'm sorry we did not even put it as an option in preparing the quotes. If the price come in under, there's possibilities of acting as such, and I hope it's an excellent idea as it was discussed, but tonight, to meet the budgets that were voted on, it's either to cut somebody else or we'll see how the prices come in. If we had the quotes, would be the better position to fix a price. Thank you, Councilor Bedivo. I just want to say that the two projects are called reconstruction of street, engineering work, and reconstruction. In that case, what are we seeing tonight? We're approving $326,000 for activities that would have to be made. $326,000 doesn't seem to be the only expenses that we have paid during the year. And I think with our projects of reconstruction and asphalt management, could we not hire a full-time engineer? It's cheaper than to send that work to an outside developer. That's something we have to do during the year if we intend to keep on investing the amounts that we have been investing in the asphalt project. It's certainly something we have to submit during this year. I've talked with the manager in that sense. So if there are ways of saving money, sometimes even if we only do half of the projects internally, we can go outside. Well, these are important sums of money. It's to see if we can attract the necessary knowledge. The amount that we are investing in our street, the percentage that is given to consultants, I believe the consultant would make it worthwhile to have one, if not two, engineers. I leave it with you to discuss at a later date. Thank you, Councilor Bibo. Other questions? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Next item, 5.3.3. Suminaso Engineering Service Sewer Reconstruction Project on Champlain Street for 2015. We want to hire the Le Groupe work consultant in the amount of $65,756 plus HST and defrayed from the 2015 capital budget. To read it, Mr. Godet. Council authorizes Le Groupe Arroy Consultant Limited to undertake the engineering services for the sewer reconstruction Champlain Street project pursuant to the proposal dated November 27, 2014, and further authorizes the cost of said design engineering services estimated at $65,756 plus HST be defrayed from the 2015 capital budget account provided for said project. I so move. Moved by Councilor Godet, seconded by Councilor Dalat. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. 5.3.3 is adopted as presented. Next, 5.3.4. Since your mic is open, Mr. Godet, if you wish to proceed, that Council authorizes the payment of engineering services to WSP Canada Inc. in the estimated amount of $288,330 plus HST for the College Street Extension Design Project, and that this expenditure be defrayed from the 2015 capital budget account provided for said project. I so move. Moved by Councilor Godet, seconded by Councilor Cormier. On the question, Mr. Bedivo. Thank you, Your Worship. Could we know more who is WSP Canada Incorporated? Monsieur Desjardins. It's a consulting company previously called Jediba. Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. I understand they changed their name. Thank you. Any further questions? Mr. Godet. In this case, we said that the authorizes the payment. It means that part of the job or the job has been done already? The work has been done, I'm sorry. No, they will. So then the text is wrong. I think it's the text should be corrected. We should read that the council authorizes to undertake engineering work in the project entitled authorizes the firm WSP and so on and so forth. Can we withdraw the resolution and rephrase it verbally in order to be able either that or we wait till if I say the council authorizes the engineering service of WSP to proceed in the design of the College Street, the extension of College Street in the estimated amount of $288,300 and that it be defrayed from the capital budget. With that, you have everything needed? Mrs. Mayet, do you agree? Resolution as presented by Councilor Guedet, that was as amended and was supported by Councilor Cormier, that was supported by Councilor Cormier. On the question, Monsieur Béliveau. Yes, Your Worship. I want to know, is the work, are we authorizing the payment? I want to know what is the status. I think it's clear. That was a question that was answered. So no work has been done, if I understood correctly. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Municipal Bylaw 6.1, Bylaw Z-6-26, amending the municipal plan for the reading in its entirety. Monsieur Thibodeau. Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-626, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe Municipal Plan Bylaw. Council of City of Dieppe duly assembled enacts as follows. A bylaw to adopt the City of Dieppe Municipal Plan, being bylaw number Z-6, enacted on the 14th day of April 2008 and filed in Westmoreland County Registry Office as number 25467813 on the 25th day of April 2008 is hereby amended as follows. Schedule A1, dated January 31st, 2008, entitled City of Dieppe, Generalized Future Land Use, whenever it is mentioned in the text of the municipal plan, is amended by the map here to attach a Schedule A-1-24. I so move. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau, seconded by Councilor Guedes. On the question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. The resolution, it's accepted in its entirety. Now we'll proceed with the third and final reading by title only. Councilor Thibodeau, thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-6-26, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe Municipal Plan Bylaw. I so move in third reading in its title, by its title. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau, seconded by Councilor Guedes. On the question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Z-626, amending the municipal plan on the Dieppe Boulevard, is adopted in its third and final reading. Now, for bylaw Z-A-40, amending the zoning bylaw, the same subject, for the reading in its entirety, Mr. Brideau. Bylaw number Z-A-40, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, the Council of the Municipality of Dieppe, duly assembled, enacts as follows. A bylaw to adopt the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, being bylaw number Z-8, enacted on the 14th day of April 2008, and filed in the Westmoreland County Registry Office as number 2546771 on April the 25th, 2008, is hereby amended as follows. Schedule A, dated January 31st, 2008, entitled Zoning Map, whenever it is mentioned in the text of the zoning bylaw, is amended by the map here to attach as Schedule A-33. I so move, Your Worship. In its entirety. Thank you. Moved by Councilor Brideau, seconded by Councilor Dalar. On the question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So, bylaw Z-A-40 is adopted by reading in its entirety. We'll proceed with the third and final reading by title only. Mr. Brideau. Bylaw number Z-8-40, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I so move. In third reading by title only and for its adoption. Thank you. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau, seconded by Councilor Dalar. What did I say? Thibodeau. Brideau. Moved by Councilor Brideau, seconded by Councilor Dalar. On the question, All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. So bylaw Z-A-40 is adopted in third final reading, and this is the end of the agenda for tonight. However, I would be remiss not to take a few minutes to wish to all our citizens a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We hope to see many of you Thursday night during the reception at City Hall, where we will receive 2 invited guests to be confirmed 100%. Our MLA, our 2 MLAs, MLA Melançon and Mr. Galland, the Premier. He is also an MLA for Dieppe. If the legislature is adjourned as it should be, we should have them as visitors. We will also have our federal friends. Mr. Gauguin should be here, and Mr. Leblanc also. So, but it's especially for our citizens that we invite everyone. We hope to see you. Have a good evening, everyone. Good evening.